Bonjour, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make rouille, or at least my version of rouille, because the more I research this Provençal sauce, which is most typically served with bouillabaisse, the more confused I become. Even the experts seem to disagree on what goes into a rouille. The only thing I can tell you with certainty is it must be rust coloured, because rouille means rust, and it's an emulsion sauce, a variation on mayonnaise. Beyond that, there seem to be very few rules. A lot of recipes use red capsicum to get the rust colour, and that's what I'm doing today. Most recipes include some saffron soaked in water, but not all of them, and some just get the rust colour from some paprika, smoked or regular, and or some chopped red chilies. So I'm doubling down, in fact I'm tripling down. We've got saffron, capsicum and chili in this, and you almost always, I don't think there are any rules, you almost always have chili. Now if you are using fresh chili, make sure, I like to take the seeds out, you could leave them in if you want it hotter, but I take the seeds out, and make sure you scrape them out with a teaspoon or a little coffee spoon, not your fingers. I've done it and it hurts later. Little bit of lemon juice to start with. We'll taste and add some more later if we need it, and a good pinch of salt. Now we're going to blitz that together, and then we're just going to drizzle in some olive oil. I've measured it out. You do need to use a good delicate olive oil for this one, otherwise it's going to be quite coarse in the back of your throat. If you only have a more robust oil, I suggest you use half olive oil, half neutral vegetable oil. Let me get my stick blender and we'll see how we go. So a quick blitz, we want this as smooth as possible. Not always easy when you're doing a small quantity, so do your best, and then as we add the oil, it will smooth up a bit more. There we go, that's smooth enough. Now this is one of the reasons with a very small quantity I chop up the chili really finely and crush the garlic, because that makes it easier for the food processor. Now, just like mayonnaise, we start drizzling this in. Slow and steady at first, otherwise it could split. It's a pretty solid emulsion already, but if you do split it, there's some hints in the e-magazine and a separate video on how to save it, so all is not lost. Once it's started to thicken up, you can add the oil a little quicker. And with the stick blender, I find that stabbing is better once we get to this point. There we go. Beautifully emulsified, lovely rust coloured. That's all we need to call it rouille. Now, let's have a taste. It's salty enough, and I think it's sour enough. But if it wasn't, you could add a little more salt or a little more lemon juice to suit your taste. If it's not spicy enough, you can add a pinch of cayenne. Or if you know you want it spicy, use 2 or 3 chilies. It's not meant to be burning hot though, so that spiciness traditionally is just a little hit in the back of your throat from the garlic and from a touch of chili. Into a bowl. Now that's nice and thick. It will thicken up even more as it sits in the fridge, and do refrigerate it because it's raw egg. So just keep it in the fridge until you're ready to serve, and leftovers keep for a few days in the fridge. And you'll be surprised, you'll go through a lot more of this than you think in the broth with the chicken that we're serving it with. But if you're making this to serve with crudités, it's delicious. Raw veggies, steamed veggies, smeared on croutons. Any way you'd eat mayonnaise, you can eat this. Rouille, my way. Enjoy.